Military Occupational Specialty, Petroleum Supply Specialist. Today's Army requires fuel to meet its missions, and this MOS supplies it. Soldiers will operate the digital training enabler and interactive multimedia instruction in order to learn how refueling systems and equipment are assembled sequentially. Through technology, soldiers are able to gain knowledge that's self-correcting prior to conducting hands-on training in the petroleum training and military in the field facilities. The Army will train you to load and unload bulk fuel and supply and store it from a variety of sources. Soldiers will perform quality assurance and distribute it to keep the Army at a state of readiness. It's crucial for the Army to operate and maintain petroleum distribution equipment for the loading and offloading of fuel from rail cars, fuel tankers, and barges to fuel our combat equipment. You'll also train to operate and maintain a variety of fuel pumps, to repair stationary fuel storage depots, install bulk petroleum storage systems, and tactical storage systems, which are major components of the inland petroleum distribution system. In addition, you'll train to ensure product quality and equipment serviceability daily by performing preventative maintenance checks and services. Today's soldiers will learn to deploy the modular fuel system tank rack modules that provides a means for receipt and storage of bulk petroleum to be issued to combat forces. Soldiers will be capable of operating the twin agent unit in order to put out fires that ensures safe petroleum operations.
The type of soldier that would be successful in this MOS is a soldier that is self-motivated, that will take the challenge with whatever assignment it comes his or her way.
Some of the biggest challenges I face in this MOS is the misconception that you're just fueling vehicles, when in reality you're doing so much more. You are able to learn how to do multiple things pertaining to other MOSs with water, with other supply units as well.
After your initial entry training and advanced individual training, you'll work day or night in the field or at a fixed location where your duties may be to make records of all the petroleum products under your responsibility. Your duties will include inspecting storage areas and conducting repairs as needed. Serving in this MOS can help you transition from the military to the civilian employment sector because your abilities, leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving are skills and values in high demand for the foreseeable future.
Being a 92 Fox will set you up for success because you'll have plenty of professional certifications like a commercial driver's license. You can be a part of the National Petroleum Management Association and the American Petroleum Institute.
My favorite part of my MOS is the people I work with. Petroleum Supply Specialist, we care about our job, we're high speed, we know what we're doing, and we love what we're doing.
So when I was younger, I loved playing with building blocks, and now I get the chance to assemble pipelines, different fueling systems, and work with equipment that I'd never dreamed I'd be able to do, and it's pretty cool.
This MOS plays a critical role in keeping the Army on the go. So join us in the Military Occupational Specialty, Petroleum Supply Specialist.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another Soldier of the Hour. Today, I have a special guest with me. You know him from far and wide. His name is Staff Sergeant Ulibarri. Did I pronounce that right?
Close enough.
Oh, okay. Tell me, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I'm just keep messing it up.
No worries. It's Ulibarri.
Darn it. Oh, I promise hopefully next week I'll know your name. Pronunciation your name. And I'm horrible about that. I'm like the whitest white girl out there with only white girl tendencies with name calling. So I apologize that.
No worries.
So for our viewers today, if you guys haven't noticed, but we're going to be talking about fuelers in the Army. We call them Petroleum Supply Specialists, excuse me. And they play a very important part in our Army. And they don't get enough credit, I think. What do you think? You guys get enough credit?
I think we do. think we get some credit there.
Yeah. So hopefully with this hour interview, this live interview I have with you, we'll be able to give some more light on this MOS, because I think this is one of the MOSs that nobody really talks about. You're the unsung heroes out in the field for deployment and everywhere else, because we need to have our proper fuel for our vehicles, our generators, our aircrafts, and nobody talks about it. So ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't viewed our segment, it's called Soldier of the Hour. So I'm going to interview here Sergeant for the next hour. And before I do that, and before I welcome you to the show, I just want to let you guys know a little bit about why I'm doing this type of interviews. Because as you saw, the Army has these awesome commercials and these inside looks on what this MOS does and do. But I figured that we need to get to the heart of the matter, which is knowing what it's like from the real people, giving real experiences from multiple viewpoints, duty stations, locations, and things like that, to, really discuss on how they're handling or doing their job right now versus, maybe an old commercial that we have. And I like this one. This one's updated too. So, as most people know, there's over 150 different jobs that you could do in the United States Army, which is outstanding. But with these segments, it's a little bit of a twist. You saw the interview, or you saw the commercial, but it's a little bit different from one soldier to the next soldier. You guys might be the same rank, you might be in the same MOS, the same duty station, maybe even in the same unit, and have completely different experience of what your assignment could be. Maybe one person's more outgoing, maybe one person's more like a homebody. And that really does play a difference on how you do your job and interact with your fellow soldiers and your community. So this is the reason why I want to go out there and talk to and share stories of my fellow brothers and sisters, and get the inside scoop, what your job's about. Because even though I'm a recruiter, doesn't mean I know what every single job does in the Army. So I'm learning just as much as you guys are learning right now. So if you have a question, I want you guys to type it down on below, and we're gonna ask it live to Sergeant U, okay? So without further ado, Sergeant U, thanks for joining us and spending a precious hour of your day for this interview.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're gonna be Facebook famous. So we're streaming live on 4 different platforms. We got Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, believe it or not, and
Nice.
Facebook. So if you guys have a question, for him, what his duty assignments are like, or what his jobs are like, write it down. Let us know. I'll ask him. So your primary MOS is a 92 Foxtrot. It's called a Petroleum Supply Specialist. Why not just call you a fueler?
It's just a technical term for it. Short term it's a fueler. So
So fancy.
yeah, right.
So you were born in New Mexico, but you call Colorado your home.
Yes.
And you got stationed in Colorado. So you've been to Germany, you've been to Texas, you've been to Carson. How long have you been in?
I've been in almost 9 years.
9 years. Okay, I was going to guess maybe I don't know, 7 or 8. You look very young to be in for 9 years. All right, so can you let everybody know? Just like give us a brief overlook of your bio. Let us know who you are. Just because some people don't like to really listen to us talk, or me, ask questions for the full hour. So we could get you in a snapshot, and that way, if they don't want to listen to the full hour, that's okay. But if they do, that's great. So
Okay.
let us know who you are.
How's it going? I'm Sergeant Ulibarri. I enlisted back in 2012. So I was at Jiffy Lube. I was working there about maybe 2 years, working my way up to manager, and they were seeing how the managers were over there and seeing how the district manager was. They were always stressed out. They were complaining about not making enough money to do other things rather than just paying, basic household items and paying for the rent and stuff. So it was kind of a hard living. I didn't think I wanted that. I wasn't making that much. I was doing 80 hours a week. I was making about maybe $600 every 2 weeks. I wasn't making much. Trying to support a family, my sisters, my mom, trying to help her out with rent, with utilities, trying to pay for gas. It was rough. So I didn't want to live that life anymore. I figured there was something better out there for me. So that's whenever I went into the local recruiting station, and I met a Staff Sergeant Trewen. He was showing me everything that they had. Me going in, honestly, I thought that the military was all about shooting guns and doing all this crazy stuff, knocking down doors. And he said, no, it's not. It's more than that. There's other stuff. So whatever you have out there is the same thing they have in the military. And he opened up a new door for me, and I was really glad that he helped me out with that. I started basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was there for 10 weeks, and it was hot. Went there in July, sweating out. It was pretty awesome. I lost a lot of weight over there too. I didn't go in weighing that much. I think I was pretty malnourished a little bit. I didn't eat that much. I was trying to help my family out, so I wasn't eating as much as I should have been. So I think I was weighing like maybe 112 pounds. So I'm a small guy, but I was pretty skinny back then. Fast forwarding out to AIC, that's where I learned about my job. I was in Fort Lee, Virginia. I was there for 10 weeks, and they showed me everything. And me thinking like a fueler, what do they do? Drive trucks and they get fuel out. It's a lot more than that. I learned a job as well. So there's they also no. Let me go back. So they show you about aviation. So it's a lot of stuff. It's really dangerous, but it's really important stuff. And those how you with a mission cannot go through correctly or will not go successfully without fuel. So if you have no fuel, there's no fight. So they show us about quality control, different types of fuel that we have. So it's gasoline, diesels, jet fuel, kerosene-based oil, and they show you all that. It's a whole lot of stuff. It's awesome. So I was there for 10 weeks. I left in October, and then I went to Germany, and that's whenever I learned more about my job, and I was in an aviation unit. So I was filling up helicopters, Chinooks, attack helicopters, Blackhawks, some fixed wing airplanes. It was awesome. I loved it over there in Germany, and I wouldn't have gone to Germany unless I was in the military. I think I would have still been stuck in Colorado. So I'm really blessed that I was here and I'm able to actually go and do things and see other locations. So it helped me out. After I was there in Germany for about 2 years. I left over there. I tried to stay back. They wouldn't let me. They told me I had to spread my wings out and go see some other avenues. I went down to Fort Bliss, Texas. So it's El Paso, Texas, is where the base is at. I was there for about 3 years, and from there I was with an 88 unit. So it's air defense artillery, and what they do is it's a missile defense. So if someone shoots a missile at us, they're the first ones to go out there and to intercept that missile. So it's a lot of cool stuff that they have over there. While I was in there, they were doing testing. So I was doing testing for a year for a new platform that connects all the other branches together. So Navy can talk with the Air Force can talk with the Marines can talk with the Army, and they can talk together. So it's still in the works, but it's an awesome system they have. So I was there doing that for a year, and then when we go out training, I did a lot of ROMs, which is called refuel on the move. So we do a lot of convoys, doing a lot of training, make sure that we get everything going, and we just stop at a point, fill everybody up, and then keep going. So it was really fun doing that. From there, I went to Fort Carson.
Sounds exciting.
Yes, it's a lot of stuff. So I learned a lot. I'm really passionate about what I do. I get really excited. Sometimes I talk fast, and it's just me being excited. So I'm trying to slow down my thought process there. I get really, really into it. In Carson, I'm attached to a sustainment brigade. So it's CSSB. So it's combat sustainment. Combat sustainment brigade. And so what we do is I had deployed with this unit, and we deploy as a company. So we went out from Iraq, Turkey, or excuse me, not Turkey. Let me go back. We went from Iraq to Syria.
Turkey. You're saying
Jordan,
Turkey. Gobble gobble. Thanksgiving right around the corner. Sorry.
We were pretty close to Turkey. So I was in northern Syria. So we were helping out local nationals and defeating ISIS. And so what we were doing is we were going out there filling up helicopters. We were filling up vehicles and helping them out with convoys or transferring fuel from one location to another location. So it was really awesome. I don't want to get too much into that one, but it was really, really good, and it is really exciting. But I've been in Carson for about 2 years, and it's pretty awesome. I like it a lot. The area is nice, mountainous, snowy. Love it. Snowboarding. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, I could hear the passion in your voice, and the way that you're telling your story. So I mean, this is why it's so important for me to get you on the show so we could talk about your MOS, because again, I think it's one of those unsung heroes in our Army. When you say Army, what's the first? I think of an infantryman, I think of tanks, I think of this. I don't think of a fueler. And without you guys, we can't get to the fight. So I'm excited for you to be here and tell me a little bit more. I got questions because that's the first time I saw the updated Army commercial that they have on the fuelers on the 92 Foxtrot for my viewers. You're looking into this MOS. So as we go through, I'm going to ask you some more in-depth questions about your job. Okay. But I want to go really quick. I have a live comment from Joshua. Josh asked, what has been the most proudest moment of your career?
I'd say the most proudest moment of my career is showing the younger soldiers the same thing that I've gone through and kind of prevent them from making mistakes that I've done. So I think seeing them learning and mastering their skill without needing my help is a treat right there.
Okay. And that was from our live audience. I just want to remind our viewers that, hey, if you have a question, don't be scared, drop it down. You know, if you're curious about his job, if you're curious about any of his duty stations, drop it down. We'll talk about it. You know, this video is for you guys. Okay. It's not for me. I've been in around for a hot minute. I could call up a couple buddies, starting you, and be like, hey, what do you do? So again, this video is for you guys. So if you're watching it live, hashtag live. If you're rewatching it, hashtag rewatch. So this is a two-part question. This question was earlier on this week when we were broadcasting your video today. But this also ties into how I'm going to start it off. Okay. I know that you said that you're working at Jiffy Lube, but and that's what led you to come talk to a recruiter. But why fueler? What was the defining moment out of all 150 jobs you chose fueler? And then so that's pretty much the same question what this individual asked. Why did you choose this type of job over any other MOSs?
Okay, so it's a good question. So I had a hard time trying to get in the military. Of course, the ASVAB. I wasn't really good at testing back then. I was really nervous, and I was just trying to get through. I wasn't really that good. So taking the test, I was really nervous and I was threatened by it, and I wasn't getting a good score. It took me about a year to get in the military.
Oh, wow.
It took me a whole year to get in the military. The first time I took the ASVAB, I got a 30. The second time I took it, I got a 29, and I had to wait 6 months to take it again. So I was there trying to study. I had some people trying to help me out. I took it again the third time, and I got a 31. So I barely got it. So my list of options shrunk by a lot. I was originally going to try to go in for infantry. That's kind of wanted to do at first, just thinking that was what everybody did. And then that's never Sergeant Treatment was talking to me and telling me about all the options that I have. Because when I first went in there, he says, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want to knock down doors, I want to go shooting, and I want to save the planet." And so he said, "All right, let's do it." And then after I got my testing done, he says, "Hey, brother, I'm really sorry. Right now, there's no openings for infantry, but I can show you this." That's when he opened my eyes to everything else they have out there. And there was my options. I only had two options. So I had the options of becoming a fueler or becoming a cook. Me, naturally, as a person, outside of work, I don't like to cook that much. And if I do, it's just for me. So I'm not
Right.
a really big cook in general. It's nice. I think those who do it, but it's just not for me. So I said, let me try fueler. I'll try that out and see how that is. And I started doing it, and I fell in love with it. It's awesome, and so many opportunities I can get doing this job.
Now, did your recruiter ever let you know that if you were not happy with the job that you came in as, you could study with what's called a fast class or BSIP class to higher your GT score while you're in, and then possibly change over when it's time to reenlist to a different job? Did that recruiter ever tell you about some of those options?
He did. He told me that at the same time he was talking to me about my choices. He was telling me, excuse me, he was telling me that I can go in, be about a year with my unit, do the fast class, and then I can raise my GT score up. If I get a 110 or higher, the limits are endless on jobs that I can get.
Yeah.
So I can be what is it called? What did I want to be? It was in a medical field, doing X-ray, like an X-ray technician. I can do something like that. Yeah. So it was really cool.
They pay good money outside. I'm saying
really
they pay real good.
Yeah, they do. But I was gonna do it, but after the second year of me being in there, and doing what I do now, it's nice. I like it a lot. I like helping out, and it gives me a better purpose. I feel it's nice, getting the thanks from those that are out there fighting, saying, "Hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. I know you don't get recognized that much, but we really appreciate you." And I had a general tell me that, and it was like the most amazing feeling ever, having someone that high up telling me, "Thank you, I appreciate you." And not just me, just my whole crew. It was awesome.
Like I said, unsung heroes. I tell you, you guys. So quick story, real quick. I was in Korea, South Korea. We were doing an FTX field training exercise, dead of winter, and you would have to. We would have to have little heaters, like hot roast heaters that you fill up, little burners. You fill, and they only last like 4 hours, and you have to refill. But you need a fuel to run those heaters, or you're gonna freeze your butt off. I don't care. I'm a sunny California person. I don't like the cold, and I don't care what they tell me. I'm always going to think that sleeping bag will not keep me warm enough. So without you guys, I won't be able to run my heater at night and stay alive because it's so cold. I was praying to the fuel gods that entire FTX. Please don't run out. Please don't run out. Yes, we really did. So as long as you had the options. Now, did you ever follow through? Did you ever try to go through a BSIP class to try to improve your GT score? Or you just fell in love with the job and you're like, this is it. You're stuck with me.
I tried it.
Done.
I did try it out. But I like the job a lot. I think it's awesome. And I like teaching the younger guys what they do, and just seeing their appreciation and their gratitude. It just makes it worthwhile.
Okay. Now, you mentioned basic training, 10 weeks. It's 9 weeks of actual training, 1 week of reception. Mm-hmm. Now, what were some of the misconceptions you had coming into basic training and then going into AIT, which is your advanced job training?
Okay. So basic training, watching Full Metal Jacket gives you some crazy conception, right? Thinking I was gonna get punched, I was gonna get beat down, I was gonna get have my head all charred up with razors or something from their hats. But it wasn't like that. It was nice. My drill sergeant was really awesome. I had 3 of them for my platoon. I was in second platoon. I was a pit bull. I was in 213th. Delta Company in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So I had a Drill Sergeant Ray. He was a sergeant first class. Most mellow infantryman I've ever met in my life. This guy's seen a lot of stuff, but he was just always mellow. He had the deepest voice. His favorite catchphrase was "I'm awesome." So that was always his stuff. He was a cool guy. So when we first met him, he came up to us, brought us into formation, and he says, "Hey, I want to let you guys know, I'm going to treat you guys like adults because you guys are adults until I see otherwise, and I'll treat you guys like kids." So even though we were in a red phase, meaning that we didn't have that many, what do you call it? We didn't have that many opportunities to do things. Like we couldn't do cadence calls. We couldn't really do much. We weren't at that level to do all that stuff yet. So we were kind of like in grounds, I guess you could say. And what's a better
Still
word to say
learning.
that for red phase? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was talking to us, a really mellow guy. He was awesome. I learned a lot through there. I didn't really shoot guns that much before I was in, so that was my favorite thing to do. Was always going to the range. I did a lot of
Rifles,
ruck
young man,
marches.
rifles.
Yeah,
Rifles, young man.
rifles. Sorry, rifles. So I didn't shoot rifles that much, so I learned a lot about that, and I appreciate it so much. We did a lot of foot marches, so that was really cool. A lot of ruck marches too. I learned how to carry a lot of loads on my back. So it kind of reminded me of almost like having somebody on your shoulders and walking. So it was really cool. But overall, I think it was a good experience. I learned a lot. It was more of a mental than it was a physical training. To me, it was for basic training. For AIT, that was where I learned a lot of stuff about my job, and I appreciate a lot of it too. I had really good instructors. There was a civilian that was there, Mr. Dax. I think he's retired now, but he was a crazy sergeant major, really cool attitude. But he made it fun for us, and he taught us a lot. And he'd always get off subject, but then he'll lead back into a reason why, and it kind of made more sense in understanding why we're learning this course or why we're learning about this. So, for example, the FSSP system, the fuel system supply point, that's about 120,000 gallons of fuel that they have. And he was going through talking about how he was downrange and always yelling at people because they were always trying to get his fuel, trying to take his fuel without him being there. And so, don't let anybody touch your fuel unless you're there because you're accountable for it. It's a lot of money. That's not free money. That's our money there. And so kind of sucks to me. Military fuel is very expensive, and you can't give it out like candy. So it's kind of something they tell us. And so it was nice. In AIT, I had more. I was able to have my phone out with me, and of course not in class, but whenever class was over, I was able to have my phone so I could call my parents, tell them how everything was. They're really eager to know how my day was. My sisters are excited to see me, and they like to see me in uniform. So it's kind of cool. I always take pictures of my uniform. It was pretty awesome. I was really awesome. Yeah, I was always excited about it. I still am. I like taking pictures of uniform. It's pretty cool. And so, but we did some training in AIT too. We did some ranges. We did an FTX. We were out there for a week, and what was cool about that is that when I was there, we had other. There was a ALC that was going on, Advanced Leaders course. So those NCOs, sergeants, staff sergeants, would come train with us. So they were telling us about how they went through basic in IT, what the differences were with them, and those that deployed, they tell us about how deployment was. And they showed us kind of tricks and tips and tricks about what we do as our jobs to make our life a lot easier. So it was nice going through there. I liked it a lot.
That's awesome. So, Sergeant, I'm going to quickly jump over to some of our live comments. They're piling up.
Okay.
They're just itching to ask you some questions. So this one's from Mady. Shout out to my girl. She asked, "Are you able to work at airfields and fuel our helicopters, etc.?"
I am, yes. With this job, I gained a lot of certifications, excuse me, a whole lot of them. It's a plethora of them. So I can deal with hazardous materials. I can deal with other stuff too. There's actually a certification that I was able to get, which is the SOL, so it's International Society of Logistics, and that's nationwide. And that's just one of the things I learned. Hazmat. That is another certification that we get, and in the civilian side that can cost up to $500, and I got that class for free, and it's a 2-week class. So if I decide to get out, I can work for any airport or anywhere else that deals with hazardous materials, and I can make some pretty good money.
Okay, awesome. Because that led into her second question. Can't talk. Would that transfer over to the civilian world with those certificates, or would you have to get them for each state? Do you know anything about that? Okay.
So yes, it would transfer worldwide. The hazmat and the SOL that I have, depending on wherever I go to, they might want an extra certificate, but those do transfer over. And let's say if I were to get out and I wanted to be a hazardous material supervisor, and some drivers, they can make over $100,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just reading the comment. Mady said that we know about hazmat. I could discuss a lot more on that topic, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But okay, so let's. I got a question.
Okay.
So we do have, and I don't know if you know this question. I don't know the answer. I don't know if you do either. But when we're downrange, so in a deployment setting, and other coalition forces, aircrafts, they're running out of fuel and they're not close enough to their base. Will they stop and land at our LZ to fuel up, or is that against the rules to fill up other people's stuff? Obviously, hopefully they're going to pay for it. Have you seen that, or have you heard anything about that?
I have.
Okay, good.
Oh, I have. There was some British forces downrange that they asked for permission, and we kind of billed it to them, gave them a bill. And most of the times they have a little credit card, so we just kind of take that off and then bill it to them, and it goes to their higher ups.
I'm assuming it's the same system. They power down or exit the craft. You fill them up, and away they go.
So there's cold fuel and hot fuel. Cold fuel is whenever they all deplane and we fill them up, and the aircraft is turned off and grounded. Hot refueling is whenever the engine's still running and you're over there, you're filling up. So it's really exciting, especially refilling up a helicopter or a C-130, and you can just hear the turbines just going through, and it's really hot, but it's so exciting. It's an exciting feeling, especially at night. With the helicopter, if you look up on the blades, you can see static electricity. So
oh
wow,
it's
awesome! It's really cool at night.
Okay, that's that. I never knew about that. That's interesting. Let's see what's the deal with other branches. I'll get to that. Maybe I'll get to that question here in a second. James said, "Put me in, coach. Sign, seal, and deal. Ready to be delivered." All right.
All right.
One of our recruiters will talk to you, James. Go ahead and hit up Sergeant Easton. He's on there talking some mad goodiness. So another live comment is from Josh. He says, "What's next for your big goals in your career?"
Awesome. So what I want to do for me, so I'm a staff sergeant. I want to get looked at, my first look. So this next upcoming year, I'll be getting looked at for starting first class. If I get my first look, that'd be awesome. So that's a short-term goal for me on that. I think it would be really good. So kind of want to work my way up. Want to be a first sergeant. It's really hard to be a first sergeant as a fueler. There's a certain amount of slots that are available for us, and you just gotta hunt it. So everyone's competing against each other for that slot. So I think if I make it at least first sergeant, I think I'd feel more accomplished with my career. In the future, I do want to possibly become a teacher and teach people what I know about this. I think being an instructor, a civilian instructor, would be really cool, or being a science teacher would be kind of cool to teach some middle schoolers. Just telling my war stories, I guess. So, cool
That's awesome. You know what? You should become a recruiter and tell all those little kids to join the Army.
You're right.
I got another question from Mady. She asked, do you deal with other branches in our military as well? So let's say you're on it, obviously on your Army branches. So Germany, there's a lot of coalition forces and other Marines, Navy, and Air Force. Do you deal with any of their fueling? And here's a caveat. I have no clue how they fuel. I mean, I could guess. I'm not that incompetent, but I could guess. How do they fuel the ships, the big ships? Because that has to take massive amount of fuel.
Yes. All right. So I'll get into that one. So with Germany, I was attached to an aviation unit. I was in Ansbach, Germany. Amazing place. If you ever have a chance to go to Germany, I deeply express to go out there and visit it because it's beautiful. But I was out there in an aviation unit. We were doing some exercises with special forces. So our special forces were with the German special forces and teaching them how to do their ropes. So it was really cool. So we were with the German Army. Very nice people. We were with some other ones too. It was the UK Army. We had some other ones. I forgot the country, but there was about four different armies that we were dealing with as a coalition forces. It was a joint readiness training exercise that we had going on, and just seeing them all, it was really awesome. And it was really cool talking to them. There was a little bit of a language barrier, but I think everyone all loves food. So as soon as we were done with the exercise, everyone they go like this, like, want to eat? I'm like, let's go eat. And they had some amazing donors. Donors are good.
Right.
So in their ships, I personally didn't fill up any of their vehicles. I was mainly doing the Marines Ospreys. So it's those helicopters that kind of the propellers kind of go forward like a plane, and those are really cool. Those don't take that much. I think they take about maybe over 100 gallons, maybe a little more than 100 gallons of fuel, but it's really cool. But I can say for whenever I was in Syria, there was a bigger plane that we had, and it took about 3 truckloads to fill it up. And our trucks hold about up to 2,500 gallons, but we do about 2,300 gallons. So 3 times of that, it's a lot of fuel.
Wow. And how long does that normally last them? A rough estimate.
I'd say maybe two trips, if they do short trips, or maybe 2 long trips. I'm not too sure what their mileage is on the flights, but it is pretty good.
We need to look into some hybrid planes and that fuel costs. Whew.
Right.
So okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right. So I'm going to jump over to some of our questions that we had earlier in the week. We kind of talked through a couple of them. What kind of special training that your MOS had? I know you briefly mentioned about that. Here's one. We talked about the misconception, right? We asked about what's the misconception of your job. All right. We asked about certificates and licensing that you get with this job. Now, does your job change from each position you've held, and can you give some examples?
What do you mean by that?
So each position could be, so I'm assuming this person's either asking one or 2 ways. Each position, like from a private to a private first class to a specialist to a sergeant to a staff sergeant, or each position, meaning that I'm assuming as a staff sergeant, you just don't sit there and fuel the trucks. There's other things in the fuel world that you're going to be responsible for. What are those positionings?
Okay, so as a private 3 specialist, you're more boots on ground, so you're doing more of the legwork, and that's where you get more of the experience. As well, you have the sergeants that are there watching over to make sure they're doing the job right. you are making sure that everything's dressed right. You're doing everything by the numbers, making sure there's no faults, because there's one thing wrong, then it could just go all the way down to everything else going wrong, which is really bad for us. Meaning what I mean by that is, if there's only allowed a certain amount of parts per million of water in the fuel. So if there's too much water in the fuel, then that can go really bad, really quick. So there's that. For sergeants also they do kind of hip pocket training with soldiers, teaching more about their job as well whenever they have downtime. Staff sergeants, they would do more paperwork, but they still be out there too with the soldiers. So they'll be out there kind of watching everything, making sure everything's going good, and kind of going back to the office and typing up some stuff like ordering more fuel, or writing down fuel consumption. So every month we have to do a report of fuel consumption. So it's a monthly fuel report, and we have to annotate a daily record. And then from that, what we get is we put that into another recorder that's called a 4702 FR. That's a monthly fuel report, along with some other stuff. I'm not going to get into that.
Boring.
Yeah, right. So I'm not going to get too much into that one, but we do calculate what we use on a monthly basis so that we know what to pick up, and that we have enough fuel on hand. So it's really cool. Starting first class, they're mainly the platoon sergeants. So they oversee everybody in that platoon to make sure they're doing everything right, and also train up for future exercises and trainings.
Okay.
And it's about the same for each the higher you are, the same, almost the same echelon as far as the staff sergeants starting first classes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, it makes sense. Well, it makes sense to me because I've been in for, more than a day, but hopefully if you guys don't understand that and you need a little bit more clarification, remember this is a live broadcast. Drop your question down and we'll get it to it. If you didn't understand it, ask it a different way and we'll say it a different way. So I'm going to jump across and look to see one of our other questions that we had. This kind of coincides what we're talking about with the different levels. So for our civilian viewers, if you didn't know, that we have what's called a garrison environment, which is like our work area, our living area. There's, our commissary, which is kind of like our grocery store, our PX, which is like a mini mall with some food courts in there. So that's our garrison area. This is like the heart of the base. And then, a couple miles from there, you have what's called a field environment. Where like it's just woods. There might be some mocked up buildings and stuff for training, or some ranges to, qualify your weapon or do some maneuvering, land nav, etc. So that we call that the field environment because it can duplicate what we come in contact with the location downrange. Excuse me, I have to get that off me. And then you have deployment. Now there's two types of deployment. There is a normal deployment, like you were deployed to Germany, and there's a combat deployment, which is, Afghanistan, or Iraq. So when we talk about what the difference in your job in these three field environments, or in these three different environments, the garrison, field, and deployment, can you tell us a little bit about how different your job changes in those environments?
Yeah, I can. So for the garrison one, it's mainly us training up for deployments. So they kind of teach us to have that muscle memory. And you'll learn that whenever you go into basic training. They'll talk about muscle memory a lot when you go to the range. But just making sure that you're doing everything right, precisely, witithout any hiccups. And that way, when it comes time for you, it's kind of like clockwork. You wake up one day, you just kind of know what you're doing already. So that's what they do in garrison. So they'll show us that. Also show us about other stuff that we have out there. So there's in my job, there's a lot of different equipment that we have that we can use to better ourselves. So there's a new one that came out. It's the TRM, or the MFAS modular fuel system, which connects to a HEMT that we have that has fuel inside of it, and it's a secondary containment where you can use that and drop it in a location that is not you can't really bring a vehicle inside of there, but it's used for close quarters in a sense. So it's really awesome. So it kind of teaches how to use those. So that teaches a lot of different ways we can maneuver that equipment or how to use it. For Germany, it's kind of, whenever I was in Germany, it was the same thing. We were just kind of training up on to be better whenever we're out there deployed. And we were doing a lot of those kind of exercises. So it was really cool. And then for the deployment one, that one's a lot more different. So me personally, I didn't spend too much time on the FSSP system. And when you're deployed as a fueler, that's the main thing you're going to focus on. So I was a little threatened by using that system, because how much fuel there is and how much damage you can do if you mess one little thing up. So it was nice having people that were there that I was rotating with to show me what they're doing and showing us how to use it properly. So it was really cool. And now I feel like I'm a master at it. Take me out there and I'll show you every single part, and I can talk to you by the numbers of what it does and what the actions are for it. So it's amazing.
Repetition.
But
Repetition, guidance, and mentorship.
Yes.
Repetition, guidance, and mentorship. We'll get a soldier from hacking and needing, support to a SME, a subject matter expert, what you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it was, and that's good. I'm glad you said that. That's awesome. Couldn't say it better myself. And it was cool. So me learning that, it made me feel a lot better about what I do for my job, and knowing this, I can show others how to do it, and kind of makes them feel a lot better about what they're doing with their job too. So it's really cool. But it depends on each scenario that you do. Whenever you do training, it can be different. It could be the same. But I think what they're gearing more towards is doing a little more of a mixed stuff. That way you're not doing the same thing over and over again. That way you're not just like, okay, we're going to do this again. All right, we're going to do this again. I've already done it. And we're going to do this now. We're going to do it this way. So kind of like throw a curveball at you. So it's really cool. So just keep you on your toes.
Good information put out there. Hey, you guys, we're running out of time. We're in about our last 10 minutes. So I'm going to power through some of these questions that we had earlier on in the week to give it to you, Stu. But if you have a live question, jot it down. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you, the viewers. People who have not been in the military or have friends or family that could ask. This is a perfect opportunity to get in and pick his brain. It doesn't have to be just about fueler. It could be him as a soldier. It could be the duty station. It could be some of the benefits. You wouldn't believe how much benefits you get. Sergeant Uli, are you going to school right now?
Not right now, but I do plan on going. I did take a stop real quick. Had to take care of some family matters. But as soon as the next school year opens up, I'm going to definitely get into that.
But you have quite a few semester hours, right? Already in the whole.
I do. I have about 114, 116.
Okay, so did you pay out of pocket for any of that time?
No, I did not. It was so using the TA, I was able to go through there, and they helped me out.
Tuition assistance is what he's referring to, you guys.
Yes. So I was doing that. It was really cool. So I didn't have to pay anything out of my pocket. You can also use Pell Grants, and you can do some other stuff outside of the military, and they'll pay you whenever you get a good grade, as long as you keep a 3.0 grade point average.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So again, you guys need to talk to a recruiter if you have questions. Just coming to a recruiter and asking this question doesn't mean that they're going to sign you up to enlist into the Army the next day. There's a lot of processing. It doesn't happen overnight. So if you have a question, if you don't want to go into a recruiting station, call, text, email. We're all over the place. And I'd rather have you guys have the knowledge than just assume, because there's so much information out there that it's hard to detect what's somebody's opinion versus a fact. So Sergeant, you hold on tight. I'm going to fire these questions off to you. So let's try to get as many as we can before our last 10 minutes. You, the viewers, if you guys have a question, go ahead and lay it down and we'll get them answered within this 10 minutes. If not, hashtag rewatch, put down your question and we will get them answered. All right. Any advice you would give to somebody trying to look for this type of job in the Army? And
Uh,
92.
I would say poke the brains out of those that have been in for the longest time, or for a longer period of time. They're the ones that know a lot, and also keep your mouth open. Closed mouth won't get fed. If you have any questions, always ask about it. Don't keep your mouth shut because you're gonna get lost in the sauce.
Oh, that's a new term I haven't heard. Interesting. All right, what advice would you give a newly in soldier, private, that is in this MOS, or a brand new lieutenant coming into your world as a fueler?
Okay, I would welcome them in with open arms, show them around, and introduce them to somebody that I would know would mentor them a lot good. Keep a close eye at them, and make sure that they understand everything. If they have any questions, that they are more than welcome to ask me or anybody else.
Okay. What's the best thing about being a fueler in the Army?
Best thing about being a fueler in the Army is without us, there's no mission that's going to be successful.
I don't know. I know some infantrymen say that, all they need is a pair of boots and they'll go anywhere. Got to compete against those guys. All right. Would you choose to change anything, either at the very beginning or now through whatever time you've been into your career?
I think if I were to change one thing, I would have came in a lot earlier.
How old were you when you joined?
I was 20.
20. Okay. I was too.
Nice.
That means we're gonna retire when we're 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. If you didn't join the Army, where do you think you would have been with your life? Where do you think you would have been?
I think I would have still worked at Jiffy Lube, maybe as a manager, Peyton Life.
In life. Okay.
Peyton Life, yep.
Okay. What draws you to the fueler? I know you said you only had 2 jobs to choose from because how low your score was and the opportunities at that time. But being a fueler for, you said 7, 8, no, you said 9 years, right?
It's getting close. 8 years. It's getting close to 9 years.
So what keeps you drawing to this MOS? Because you had plenty of opportunities to change your job while you're in.
I like it. I feel like this is for me. I love the education they have. I like being able to teach people about the job, and those that don't know it, I love to express what I do in my job profession. I think it's amazing, and seeing those that have gotten out and as a fueler, and them telling me I wish I would have stayed in, and they always tell you to stay in, it's worth it. And just seeing how they like, everyone tells me that's gotten out, they say I wish I could have stayed in, I wish I could have done this, and seeing how they are and me being in there, I'm grateful for it. It's an easy job. Like, I'm on leave right now, I'm getting paid on leave, so I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah. So as a fueler though, I think it's amazing. I think it's pretty cool. I don't really like the smell of fuel, but I just love dealing with the equipment.
I love the smell. I'm weird. Okay. How much family time, how much personal time do you have with this type of job in the Army?
I have a lot. It depends on our tempo. When I was in Bliss, I had a lot more family time than opposed to Fort Carson because we were getting ready to deploy. So it's I would say it's about I have 80% time with my family, 75%, and then during deployment it's about a 50%. So you'll spend more days at work, and then of course when you're deployed you're away from your family. But it's cold down range. There's still internet, phones. You can still talk to family and friends, just like we are right now. So it's really cool. So you're not really that too far away. So I had a lot more downtime, and I was able to talk. I think I was off downrange. I was off maybe about 6 hours a day. So it was really cool.
Okay. So we have a question live. So our question, or his question is, can you walk us through like a normal day as a fueler?
Yeah. So
as more, not as your rank, because obviously you've been in for a hot minute, but somebody coming in like a private, what would they be doing
on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing you'll go in there is you'll be assigned a vehicle, your own personal vehicle you'll be assigned for. and you would go over to that vehicle, and you would do it's a PMCS, preventive checks and maintenance checks. Excuse me, preventive maintenance and service checks. So you're making sure that your vehicle is good, just like how you would your car. Check the oil on it, check your tires, make sure they're good. Then you'll go to the back and you would do a recirculation. So it's as a fueler, you must do a everyday daily recirculation, just to make sure that you're getting all that water, because the water settles in the bottom. So you want to make sure you get all of that out. And so you do that every single day. If you're in aviation, you'll test the fuel out to make sure that there's not too much water inside that, because it's really bad for the fuel, because it can drop a plane in the air in a second.
Yeah.
Once you're done with that, then you would do whatever daily do outs that we have. So it's a little different. Some days, like, all right, I want this truck to be transferred to this fuel to be transferred to this vehicle, or I want you to pick up this many fuel, or I want you to go out there and go issue out fuel to somebody else. So it can be a little different, but it's kind of the same. So it's mainly the do outs, but it's still kind of repetitive, just enough that we know what's going on.
Okay. Just to let you know, sorry, your lighting is going away. Being in that cold climate.
Give me one second.
We're starting to lose you. Daylight savings. All right. Now we can see you. Beautiful.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Yay. I can see your smiling face now. All right. So we're about to wrap it up, but I have a couple more questions. So again, let our viewers know that, hey, ask your questions. This is the time. It's a live interview. Have you used any of the Army benefits? I know tuition assistant is something you get while you're in. It's called TA. But you have access to the Montgomery GI Bill, which, you're not going to touch until you get out. You can't use it while you're in. But what about anything else? Have you bought a home with a VA home loan or anything like that?
I'm glad you said that. I did. I bought a house with the VA loan. And what's cool about that is that I did not have to put anything down. It was zero down. Excuse me. It was zero down. All they had to do was check my credit to make sure I was good. And then all they wanted to do is to see my pay stub, LES. So it was really cool. So I got approved for a 3-bedroom house, and it was about $250,000 for that house. And I got a fixed loan, meaning that it's not going to change. The rates aren't going to change on it. So it was really awesome.
I like you to try to find a house in California, a 3-bedroom for that cost.
Oh yeah, I think someone was telling me that those houses are starting about $400,000 and up.
Yeah. Well, if you find one, let me know.
Definitely will.
Okay. Do you have any? Now you said that you were single. Do you have any kids? Do you have any fur babies? And how is it moving with them?
I have no kids. I have 2 cats. I'm a cat dad.
Cat dad. That's awesome. I have a couple. You saw one earlier. She was on my shoulders saying hi. But how is it moving with pets in the military?
It's not bad. So if I'm flying out to Germany, I just gotta or anywhere else overseas, like Korea, they would just need to make sure that they have to date, and they would transfer them for you at no cost. Along with everything else, they can move one vehicle overseas for you, and then they can move all your furniture for free. And then whenever I moved to to Colorado, I had the option of moving my own stuff, or they moved it for me. And I decided to do a partial duty move, which was they move most of my stuff, and I move the stuff that I wanted to keep with me, and then I get paid for that.
Yeah, let them move all the heavy stuff.
Yes, exactly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to let you guys know that we are at our time. And I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, Sergeant Yu, for spending an hour with us and talking about your fabulous career and the unspoken heroes in the Army, the fuelers. 92 Foxtrot. You guys, if you're watching this and you guys didn't catch the live interview, we have some great comments. This job does transfer over to the civilian world with certificates and license and all good stuff. And there's other things that you could do while you're in. So this is a great MOS to get some job experience, get your schooling paid for, get a nest egg of money. And for those young, I was going to say kids, but young students that are graduating, this is a good, you know, stepping stone, you know, to get ahead in life. So, you know, take a look at it. You know, it's transferable. It's a great job. Sergeant Yu, thank you so much for spending an hour of your leave time, your off time, away from your fur babies. I know they kind of miss you. And stay on the line while I, you know, tell everybody have a great day. So for my viewers, you know the drill. You know, stay in the right uniform, show up in the right time, show up in the right place, and you can't go wrong, because those are 3 easy things that you just need to do as a basic soldier. When I say basic soldier, I mean you know, a private. And you will be led, you'll be mentored, you'll be given task and purpose to complete your mission for that day. So you can't go wrong. If you have any more questions, reach out to us. We're at the Paso Robles Army Recruiting Station. Contact information is all over the place. So if it's not in the title, be on this bar. If not, look us up on the Facebook page. We have some awesome recruiters here. We're getting a new one. So we have a surprise with that. And then next week, we have a esteemed guest coming on. So don't miss out next week's Soldier of the Hour. All right, you guys, I have to get going back to work. You know, the day does not end for an Army soldier. So I will catch you guys next Tuesday. Bye-bye.